We're asked to solve the following quadratic linear graph. This left side is the quadratic. It's a parabola. So let's graph this. It's a happy face that looks like this. And this right side of the equation is a line, y equals 2x plus 8. So that means that we have a y-intercept of 8. We'll just suppose that this is 8 here. And a slope of 2, or 2 over 1, means the rise and the run is 2 over 1. So this diagram is not completely accurate, but we're trying to guess what the answer is here. We're trying to find the x values here and here. And we can guess the answer is going to be negative and positive. So unless you have graph paper, this question is a bit hard to do unless you're counting very carefully or drawing your diagram very carefully. Let's use Desmos using graphing software. Y equals x squared is the red line, is the parabola. And the blue line here is the line equation. And we see that the x value is negative 2 and the other x value is 4. The coordinates are negative 2 comma 4 is the first point of intersection. And the second point of intersection is 4 comma 16. So the answer is negative 2 and 4. Let's now solve this graphically by sketching one graph. We'll take this equation and throw everything to the left. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Now visualize this 0 as being the actual y equals 0. When we say y equals a parabola, we can factor. So let's factor this parabola. Y equals x. Let's try 4 and 2. Minus 4 plus 2 is the factored form. And this quadratic reveals the roots. The opposite of negative 4, we have x equals 4. And the opposite of positive 2 means x equals negative 2. So we'll write this down here. Negative 2 here, and the x value of 4 are correct. Now to answer this question properly, we're supposed to sketch the graph. So let's do so. We have the roots as 4 and negative 2. And let's draw a nice parabola that cuts through these roots. And we can see that here are the answers. Now algebraically, we set y equals 0 and we show the work and get the result, exactly 4 comma negative 2. And by the way, for the sake of practice, we're going to learn a technique called completing the square. So when we have y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8, we can draw this parabola with quite a bit of detail. We focus on the x's, and we rewrite this as x minus half of that coefficient of x, which is minus 1. And we always subtract that number squared. 1 squared is 1, so we just write 1. And we copy down this minus 8. So y equals x minus 1 squared minus 9. We have the vertex as the opposite of this number, which is 1 comma negative 9. So if we really wanted to label this with a bit more detail, the vertex would be here as 1 comma negative 9. And notice how the distance from 1 to the first root is equals to the distance from 1 to negative 2. And that distance happens to be 3. There are other algebraic techniques we're going to learn in this course. We can set y equals 0 if we already have the completed square form and use algebra. Let's add 9 to both sides. So we have 9 equals x minus 1 squared. We now take the square root of both sides. X minus 1 equals plus minus the square root of 9, which is 3. So we have x equals plus minus 3 plus 1. So we get two possible answers. Plus 3 plus 1 is 4, and minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. We have the same two answers.